Fairness. Michigan Democratic Congressman Dan Kildee is with us to talk more about this. Congressman, appreciate you joining me. So Mueller received bipartisan praise after he was named this past week. Do you expect the White House is going to try and stop him here?
Well, there's no way to predict what the White House will do, except that Donald Trump will do whatever he thinks is in his best interest, whether it's the right thing for the country or not. This is a guy who will go from one room to the next and say two different things. So I'm not surprised to hear that he may try to limit Mr. Mueller's capacity to investigate. I just don't think it'll work. I was at the briefing with Mr. Rosenstein. It's fairly clear to me that Mr. Mueller is going to have broad authority, that he'll have resources, and that he will be encouraged to let this investigation go wherever the facts lead him. Presidents don't do well when they try to contain investigations about their own administrations. We have a pretty recent example of that in American history. So this is a path I think President Trump ought to tread pretty carefully on. What
was your reaction to Rosenstein not necessarily addressing who it was that asked him to write that memo that eventually led to the firing of Jim Comey?
Well, it was frustrating because we really didn't get a lot of new information, although, as I listened to him, it was very clear to me that, A, of course, he knew that Mr. Comey was going to be fired before the memo was written, and that he was given direction to write the memo. I guess the only thing he could say that was original is that he claims that the content of the memo itself was his own content. Mm-hmm. But this is a president who now, in more than one occasion, has made it clear that the reason he fired Mr. Comey was because of the Russian investigation. That raises a lot of questions, and I'm happy that Mr. Mueller is going to be in a position to subpoena witnesses, to get documents, to make inquiry, to answer questions about the Russian involvement in his campaign, but also potentially about any potential cover-up, any effort to obstruct this investigation. And again, this is an area where Mr. Trump, he may be accustomed to being able to bully his way out of his problems. This is not going to happen in this case. He's not going to be able to bully his way out of this issue. This is real.
Unless he can figure out how to fire Mueller.
That's possible. If he does that, though, he's going to have more problems than he has right now.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that one. Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz, who also respects Mueller, as he has said, he actually questions the need for a special counsel. Let's take a listen to that.
Look, I have not seen any evidence of actual collusion. Where is the actual crime? They think they need a special prosecutor to prosecute. I haven't seen that.
Something that we're missing here? Something that he's missing?
No, that logic doesn't follow. I mean, there's plenty of circumstantial evidence of involvement between the campaign. In fact, there are clear statements that have been made that the campaign itself was involved with the Russians. Our own intelligence agencies have said so. But the reason you do an investigation, the reason you subpoena witnesses and subpoena documents is to get the evidence. So I'm a little worn out on members of Congress and others saying, I don't see evidence. The reason you conduct the investigation, the reason Mr. Mueller was appointed was to go see if that evidence exists, and if it does, to bring charges as a result. If it doesn't, then they can obviously say that and we can move on.
All right, Congressman Dan Kildee of Michigan.